My name is Kyle. I'm 28 years old, and I'm an employee. You might be surprised to hear that my childhood friend was my wife's lover. But there's more to the story. Are you interested in how it ends? Let me share it with you now. My childhood friend, Jason, and I have been close since kindergarten. We lived nearby, and he often took care of me. Jason always had my back from when we were little kids. In kindergarten, I was a crybaby, always troubling my mom. During those times, Jason would take my hand and walk me to the classroom. We went to the same elementary and middle schools. When I was being bullied, Jason was quick to come to my rescue. We aimed for the same high school but went our separate ways for college and jobs. I moved away from our hometown, where I met Emily and married her. Then we moved back home. Jason stayed in our hometown, got married, and naturally, we began hanging out again. Sometimes the four of us, including our wives, would get together.
Kyle, long time no see. Emily, it must be hard looking after Kyle, huh?
Well, yeah. But that's what makes him adorable.
However, I never would have guessed that Emily and Jason were having an affair at that time. I started feeling something was off when Emily got pregnant.
Emily's pregnant, huh?
That was the unexpected email I got from Jason. I accidentally replied, "Who's Emily?"
What are you talking about? It's your wife, Emily.
At that moment, I sensed something odd in Jason's excited response. When I got home, I gently hugged Emily.
I already know. Jason told me.
While Emily was concerned about her health, she seemed to be hiding something. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
That's good. I know it's cliche, but I got some orange juice. However, I felt uneasy about Emily's demeanor and their glances. Looking back, something was off at that point. I had always thought of Jason as a kind person and never doubted him. Even then, I was puzzled by Jason and Emily's relationship but continued with my work. Emily's health worsened and she spent most days in bed. I wanted to be by her side, but I couldn't take days off every day. When I came home, there were increasing signs that someone had been at the house. Did someone come by?
Yeah, my mom.
I see. I'll send her a thank you email later.
No need. I've already told her, and it would just bother her if you keep saying it.
I felt a bit off, but didn't think deeply about it and cleaned up the dishes in the sink. Emily's mom is meticulous and hates leaving dishes unwashed. Her mom must have been busy to leave so many dishes. That's what I thought as I washed and put away the dishes.
Thanks. I'm going to sleep first today.
As I wiped the last plate, Emily called out to me, "Okay, good night." And finally, she entered a stable period. I was worried about how things would turn out, but Emily also started to settle down as she approached a stable condition. Morning sickness can be severe and continuous for some, but I was really relieved when Emily's complexion improved. One day, I mentioned to Emily,
I was thinking of going to the dog days blessing, but it seems like your mom will go for us. What do you think?
"Really?"
Yeah. Even though the morning sickness has subsided, you're still not in top shape.
"Right. Your health comes first." Honestly, I was looking forward to going out with Emily, but I didn't want to push her, so I held back those words. The dog day refers to the first dog day after 5 months of pregnancy, a time to pray for a safe delivery. After a while, I received an unbelievable email.
Emily and I went to pray. You should at least take her to pray.
I raised my voice involuntarily upon reading the email and immediately called Jason. "Hello, what do you mean by praying? Did you go on dog day?"
Of course. Emily looked sad, saying you wouldn't go with her.
Jason's tone seemed somewhat triumphant. "Wait," I asked Emily properly, but she said her mom would go.
Anyway, you should be more considerate towards Emily.
With that, he hung up, and I was left standing there, stunned. I'm home.
Welcome back. I felt good today, so I cooked dinner.
Emily greeted me with a smile. Despite her lovely appearance, Jason's words from earlier were still on my mind. "Did you go to pray today?" After we started eating, I asked Emily in a whisper.
Did you hear that from Jason? Though, he came with me.
"Why, Emily? You said you wouldn't go."
I changed my mind. I wanted to go. That's all. See, hormones go crazy during pregnancy. It can't be helped.
"You suddenly really wanted to go? You could have told me. We could have gone this weekend. I wanted to go too."
I wanted to go today.
All right, but Emily, from now on, please don't rely on Jason. I want to be honest with you. As much as he is a dear childhood friend, I think the closeness between you and Jason lately is too much. Emily nodded slightly, but after that, there was no conversation between us. The dinner had an awkward atmosphere, but I hoped this would make Emily reconsider her closeness with Jason. One day, my phone vibrated during work. It was Emily's checkup day. Worried something might have happened, I checked the screen and saw Jason's name, feeling a bad premonition as I answered. Yes, hello.
It seems the baby is a boy. Congratulations.
I felt like my world was crumbling. Why does Jason know? I don't even know yet. I couldn't help but voice my doubts. Even I thought something was off.
Emily said she wasn't feeling well and asked me to come with her to the checkup. So, worried, I left work early to go.
Yeah, Emily said she didn't want to bother you with work. Feeling somewhat defeated, I just repeated non-committal responses.
A boy, huh? That's exciting. Well, I'm going back to work.
Jason ended the call with a cheerful tone. I sighed deeply and took a moment to breathe, and my feelings didn't seem to reach Emily. She remained as close to Jason as ever. So far, I've been telling you about the suspicions of Emily's affair with my childhood friend Jason, but the truly shocking events between them are yet to come. Are you curious to hear more? Okay, next, I'll tell you in detail about the retribution that befell them. It seemed that she went shopping for baby products together with Jason. While my heart occasionally felt unstable, I consciously tried to keep working steadily. Eventually, Emily's belly grew round and large, giving her the appearance of a pregnant woman. Emily tenderly touched her belly and smiled gently. Seeing her like that, I momentarily forgot reality. Let's be happy together, the three of us. Surprised by my spontaneous words, Emily showed a shocked expression, but soon smiled gently. At that moment, the word happiness floated in my heart for the first time in a while. Then the intercom rang. It was Jason at the door. And as usual, Emily came back with him.
Kyle, don't make a pregnant woman work. If it's your day off, you should be the one to step out.
Jason said that while sitting on the living room couch. I apologized lightly to Jason. Sorry, but something is off. Lately, Jason was at our home when he was off work and would talk to me whenever he had a chance. And Emily was always sitting next to him. I've grown tired, and the time I spend talking with Emily has decreased. I've avoided spending time alone with her, often staying in my room. A friend suggested, why don't you discuss the current situation with your wife? But I've only heard rumors, yet it seems Jason's wife was quite the delinquent back in the day. I don't want to upset his beautiful wife, so I plan to wait for clear evidence before doing anything. I was planning to do a DNA test once the child is born. Watching this twisted relationship continue, I had made up my mind as Kyle. By the time Emily was nearing her due date, our conversations had nearly ceased. Still, with the birth approaching, I was somewhat vigilant. 3 days before the due date, my phone rang.
The baby is born. It's a healthy baby boy.
I hung up silently, and the tears that slowly rolled down my shoulders were all I could muster at that moment. I left work on time that day. The call from Jason came around noon. Assuming Jason would no longer be at the hospital, I headed there. When I gave my name at the reception, I felt a stir among the staff. I completed the formalities and made my way to Emily's hospital room. Emily, you've done well. I quietly opened the door and called her name for the first time in a long while. However, the response came from Jason.
You're late. I'm glad to see you here.
I reflexively closed the door and left the hospital. Ultimately, I never visited Emily during her stay in the hospital. She didn't send any emails either. Only pictures of the baby sent by Jason suggested that was just how things were. Soon enough, the day of discharge arrived. I dragged my feet as I went to pick them up, telling myself it was for the baby rather than for Emily. When I slowly opened the door of the hospital room, thankfully, it was just Emily and the baby.
It's been a while. Huh? You didn't come once during the stay. Do you even care about being a father?
Emily said coldly. I swallowed hard, holding back various words.
It's fine. Here, these are the bills. Please take care of them.
Emily handed me a paper with the amount due. I paid at the reception and took Emily's luggage. Shall we go? Seeing the tiny life cradled in Emily's arms was painfully adorable. We called a taxi and went home. I hoped that today, at least, we could spend it as a family of 3. But that hope was short-lived when I saw Jason at the door with diapers. I couldn't help but sigh heavily.
You're late. I went ahead and bought some diapers.
At that moment, my emotions burst. Go home? What are you doing here? We have plenty of diapers. Jason looked surprised for a moment but then glared back at me.
Don't act all high and mighty when you didn't come by once during the stay.
It's because you were there,
Stop. If you're going to make a scene, please leave.
Emily said calmly. Her voice brought me back to my senses.
If you're not leaving, then hurry up and unlock the door.
Sorry, I apologized, knowing I couldn't just leave with a newborn in tow. Above all, I hadn't done a DNA test yet. There was still a chance I could be the father. I kept reminding myself of this. For the next month, I devotedly cared for the baby. We named him Lucas, and he grew up healthy and strong. Jason continued to visit our home, doing nothing in particular, just talking to Emily. I was told to take care of everything since it's stuff postpartum for the first month. However, caring for the baby wasn't a burden since he was incredibly adorable. Eventually, he became my emotional support. I went ahead with the DNA test. After a while, the results were mailed to our home. I put the paper back into the envelope and looked up at the ceiling. The possibility of me being the father was virtually zero. One day, Emily said she wanted to celebrate the birth.
I've been craving seafood. I really want some good sushi.
Sushi was Emily's favorite food, indeed something she refrained from during pregnancy. All right, let's order it, especially since it's a celebration. The next day, we decided to get sushi for the celebration. To ensure Emily could eat slowly, we arranged for her parents to babysit for a short time. I have a lot on my mind and can't sleep, but I don't think I'm overthinking. On the day of the celebration, Jason, as expected, showed up at our home. Emily nonchalantly placed 2 servings of sushi in front of them.
Kyle, don't just sit there. Make some tea.
I'm sorry. As I hurried to get up and head to the kitchen, I heard their giggling voices.
Make one for me too.
Emily said. I pretended to enter the kitchen, then just grabbed my valuables and ran outside. I went to a cafe not too far from home to think about what to do next. The more I thought about the lawyer and the child, the more complicated it became. As I let out a deep sigh, I noticed my phone vibrating. Jason's name was displayed on the screen. You should make your own tea. I muttered and tried to ignore it, but the phone kept vibrating. Checking the screen, it seemed Emily was also calling, and the missed calls quickly piled up. It was nearly reaching 3 digits. I decided to answer, worried something major had happened.
Did you talk to Amy?
What are you talking about? I managed to ask Jason, but he had completely lost his cool.
Amy's coming over here. I told you not to talk to her.
Jason shouted even louder. Wait, I haven't spoken to Amy.
Oh crap, Amy's here. Where are you? Come back and explain.
Jason's voice was frantic. I could hear the doorbell and Emily's panicked voice from the other end. Reluctantly, I decided to head back home. When I opened the front door, I was greeted by a woman's loud yelling.
It's all a misunderstanding.
What misunderstanding? How do you explain this situation?
Amy screamed. I'm back.
Kyle, you're back. It's already started.
Her tone returned to being calm and friendly.
When I stormed in here, both of them were in their birthday suits.
Amy explained.
So what? It's because Kyle's always so spaced out and unreliable. That's why I had to rely on manly Jason.
That's right. It's because Kyle's always so unreliable.
Shut up.
Yes.
The baby is not biologically related to me. Is he Jason's?
That's not possible. Almost zero chance.
Why not?
Kyle, we've been doing fertility treatments because of him. I've been covering for Jason all this time.
At Amy's words, Jason was dumbfounded. So, the child's father is neither me nor Jason. That's what I thought. I was crying over the cruel truth, but it was different. In fact, these were tears of joy. Got it. Let's get a divorce. I'll raise the child.
I'm not getting divorced.
Why not? We've hardly been a couple for a long time. Emily, you just wanted my income, right?
I'm getting a divorce too.
Amy said coldly.
But the child isn't mine.
At that moment, Amy smiled broadly.
So what? That has nothing to do with you. I don't want to be with you.
That, Jason, you're getting a divorce too? Then let's be together.
What?
Jason exclaimed in surprise.
Let's be together. Jason, you're more than Kyle, right? I don't mind that I can't have kids, Jason.
Everyone looked at Amy as she laughed heartily.
What are you talking about? Jason just does odd jobs at my company. There's no way he earns a high income. Besides, he couldn't keep such a job if we divorced. I'll fire him.
Emily stood there, pale and trembling.
So if you want someone like that, go ahead.
Of course, Emily and I got divorced after that. Jason seems incapable of holding down a job, bouncing from one place to another, barely scraping by. I went to pick up our son from his grandparents' house, and while there, I shared the whole truth. It seems her outraged parents have cut ties with her.
Things have finally settled down, haven't they?
Yes, I decided to move away from my hometown again. Before leaving, I thought I'd say goodbye to Amy, who I'd come to the cafe with. It turned out Amy was one of the online friends I had been consulting with. That day, Amy's outburst really saved me in many ways.